Today we're here to talk about CMAs, and we're not here, I'm going to absolutely show you how to do that setup, how to set that search up. So, and we're going to show you how you can save it so that you can use it over and over and over again. But we really also want to talk about what we call the art of the CMA, because there's so many different ways to build, to gather data. Do I filter really quick? Do I use a subject property? How big do I go with my geography? That's the art of the CMA. And I really suggest that when you get into a CMA situation, we'll talk about the different levels here in a second, that you consult with your office manager, you consult with a mentor, who's been in the industry for a while, knows how to do unique properties, or even just a standard CMA. Get their input. We're here at the MLS, we're here to show you the mechanics with a little bit of, hey, you're going to want to ask questions here and there. So we'll point those out as we go along. Now, how many CMAs do we have at MLS Listings? The answer, I believe, is 9, possibly 10. It seems we've got a lot, and they come in all shapes and sizes. Today, we're going to concentrate on the CMAs that are available to you within the Matrix Search tool. That's over here on the right-hand side of the screen. And, oh, Dave and I just installed this new little marker here. I can press my control button and those little zeros or those little circles show up. So that'll help us out finding things. So we're going to concentrate on the Matrix side. And because it's got 3 CMAs built into it, small, medium, and large, which is how I like to describe them. And small, medium, and large is important depending on the question that the client asks you. If the client's just looking for what's the, the average cost of or the average price of a 3-bedroom home in Cupertino, there's no need probably to print them out a 65-page long large CMA when you can get the answer really quick to them, okay? So we're going to go through this small, medium, and large within the Matrix search tool. But I do want to just quickly point out the others where you can find CMA tools. You've got the Realist product right here. This is the information from all 58 counties in the state of California, but it's got MLS data in there, and it does have a CMA functionality. RPR Record Search, that's that product that's available to you from your membership with NAR, and they also have a CMA. Find, right here, the next one down, they have a CMA. That's the product that's the realtor-centric or agent-centric product from Move Inc., which also runs Realtor.com, okay? So there's 3 more right there that you have access to, and I recommend we offer classes in all 3 of these products right here, and we can help you, take a look at alternatives to the CMA solutions that are out there for you in your MLS Listings Toolkit. But let's get started with the Matrix Search tool, and let's take a look at those small, medium, and large options or solutions for you for a CMA. Now, I'm going to bump this up just a little bit, give you a little better view out there. Okay, let's start with the setup and just setting up the basic functions of the search tool here on the search residential page, search page for Matrix. And note, when I'm in that search residential option, I only have these property types to work with. If you're in need of doing CMAs on a duplex or a triplex or something like that, or maybe lots and land, what you'll need to do is come back up to the search tool and use one of the other more specific options for the different types of property that are within the MLS system. Also, I want to point out that as of I think 3 weeks ago, our tool, and I'm going to type in down here into city, right? I'm just going to do show me the actives, contingents, pendings, and solds of single-family homes in Fremont, and you can see I got to get a quick. We'll talk about the 0 minus 30 in the close of escrow date. What I wanted to show you is down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Oops, bottom left-hand corner. I'll get out of the way. Get that little bar showing up. There we go. Right down here in the bottom left-hand corner, those matches that are showing up. This is Fremont single-family homes sitting inside of your tool. As of a couple weeks ago, we have started to share all the data that's in the East Bay MLSs here within your MLS listing search tool. So you can now do CMAs in Fremont, and Union City, and Oakland, and Berkeley. You have all the access to the same data they do in this case. Let me hit the clear button in that bottom left corner down there, get everything cleared off so we can start this setup here. And as I said before, if you have any questions as we're going along, please feel free to use that chat window that came up when you opened up the webinar today, and that tool panel, and it's down there at the very bottom. Feel free to send me a little note if you've got a question on something. Okay, standard setup for a CMA. Active, contingent, pending, and sold. You're going to look at all this data all at one time. Some people always ask me, you know, Mark, how can you get the sold data and filter that sold data yet still get the active properties? Because active properties don't have sold dates. Well, we've set the system up. We've tailored the system so in a search like this, you will get all the actives, contingents, and pendings. You'll get the sold data for whatever time period you want to go back. Now, looking at CMAs, you always want to stay current with those numbers, but current is different from area to area. What is a fast market of Cupertino, you know, you're moving homes in maybe less than 20 days. Well, that's going to be different than Half Moon Bay. So you may need to look backwards maybe 60 days in Half Moon Bay to stay current, where in Cupertino you may go back only 30 days. This is one of those areas right here, that close of escrow date, that you're going to consult with your office manager or professional mentor as to how far they think you should go back in time to collect data. Now remember, from your basic matrix class, you've got different ways to put data into this COE date. I want to go backwards in time here. I can actually, if I wanted to, let's see, I'm going to go 04-01-17 through, right, through today's date. I could also put a plus right there. That means start at the date shown and come up to the last 15 minutes in time. So you can type it all in if you want. That's one option. Your other option is to use the little calendar that's right next to each of the date data fields. Find your date. Let's go backwards here to April 1st. And we'll come forward to May 16th, today's date. It fills in that block of time for you, and you can hit the OK button, and that block of time is now filled in here in the COE date area. I think the easiest way, though, is this: 0 minus 60, 0 minus 90, 0 minus 120, 0 minus 15. Doesn't matter what that second number is. What this is telling the system is 0 is today, go backwards 60 days, okay? So 0 minus is a quick way to get in without having to type in all those dates, okay? We're going to take a look at single-family homes here, and if somebody can give me, who's out there? I see Stacy Bell is with us. Stacy, give me a quick chat. What area do you work in so that we can do a CMA directly for the areas that the attendees are working in today? So Stacy, if you can give me an area there, if you can, down in the chat window. While Stacy's doing that, I want to talk about sort of this beds, baths, square footage, all that kind of stuff, price range. I like to leave it off. Oh, Stacy's in area 1. That's that Morgan Hill, San Martin, Gilroy area. So good idea. And Stacy, you want to do, which town do you want to work in? I love working with you guys. I like that. Morgan Hill is where we're going to be looking. Okay. Now, Stacy's client has come to her and asked a very simple question. What's the price of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Morgan Hill? What's the current price? What I like for a question like that, and remember we're going small, medium, and large. We're going to start with the small. The client has said specifically 3 beds and 2 baths. I'm not going to put in any kind of, the partial baths or the square footage or anything like that. I want to see the whole picture for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So absolutely, I do not put any price ranges in over here on the price range in the price area. but I will need to put in Morgan Hill, okay? Now remember, when you're putting in that location, I'm going to use Morgan Hill as the city. You could put a zip code, but remember that zip codes, sometimes that zip code doesn't encompass the whole city line of Morgan Hill. I'm not overly familiar with the zips down in Morgan Hill. San Jose as an example, probably better example. You know, there are multiple zip codes that make up San Jose. And some of those zip codes, you know, move over and capture a little bit of Campbell sometimes. So always got to make sure that you're really clear with your client on sort of the boundary line they're using in their search. I'm going to go ahead and do the Morgan Hill option here over there in the city area. Okay. And we've got 48 down there in that bottom left corner. And let's go take a look at those results, because you always have to move over to the results area in order to start the next step, whether that be an email, whether that be CMA, in this instance, getting driving directions. Always got to come to the results first. Now, here's the little, what I call, this is definitely the small CMA, okay? Because remember, all they were looking for, all Stacy's client was looking for, was the average cost of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Morgan Hill. So all the way down here, I'm going to move my results up so you can really see this. Right down here at the very bottom says stats, and I want you to use the tabular option, meaning a table of statistics, okay? Now, what this has done is it's taken, let's see, how many total homes do we have here? I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. We've got 48 total homes, okay? But they are broken out into 15 of them are here in the active area, 8 in the contingent, 6 in the pending, and 19 down there in the sold. And that's definitely where that average price is, right there, of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. So let's take a look on how we read these statistics here. Now, I'm going to use the minimum as an example, and we're just going to read across horizontally. So the minimum list price for a 3-bed, 2-bath home in Morgan Hill has been $497, 0 days on market, with $510 as the close price, okay? Now, as I move horizontally across this line, this is not necessarily the same house. It is just the lowest value in each of these columns, okay? Now, you may have a situation where the lowest list price was $497, and in fact, it was the house that was built in 1956. So yes, some of these factors can be the same piece of property, but you have to assume that they're not. They are all different properties, just the lowest value in each category. We're going to be looking, absolutely. The question was, what's the average price of a 3-2 in Morgan Hill? And the average price right now is $336. The other thing I notice here is that the average list price is $730. The average close price is $736. I'm seeing a higher sale to list price value here. So a little bit of a seller's market still going on down there in Morgan Hill for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Property average size of this is 1648, and with an average price per square foot of $463. Okay? Now, your client, Stacy's client says, "Hey Stacy, can you send this to me? Can you pull this out? I want to see it." And really easy to do, but you have to use a tool that's inside. Go all the way down to the very bottom left corner of your screen. Okay, way down here in the left corner. I'm going to show you how to use a tool called Snipping Tool. Now, if you're on a PC, which is what I'm working on right now, this tool is built right into your PC. You may have never seen it before, but it's built right into your PC. If you're on the Mac, you're going to use the keyboard commands, Command, Shift, and the number 4 on your keyboard. That helps you do a screen capture that you can use and put into an email. I'll show you how to do that right now. I'm going to open up just a simple Word document, and we're going to pretend this is my email right here. Okay. Now, this is the information right here that Stacy's client wants Stacy to send to them. Okay. So come down to the bottom left corner of the screen for the Start menu. Open up the Start menu. This is a list of programs that you've been running on your computer, okay? And you'll note that my tool that I'm going after is right up here at the very top, because once I show you how to use this, you're going to use this a lot. It's really going to be an enhancement to all your communications, this snipping tool right here. Now, if you don't see Snipping Tool in the menu, all you do is you go down to the very bottom where that search window is, and you type in the word snip, okay? And what the computer does is it goes out and it finds that tool for you, puts it right up here at the very top. And what I want you to do, or recommend you do, is you hold your left mouse button down and you drag this tool all the way down to this bottom toolbar at the bottom of the screen. You'll see I've already got mine. It's sitting right there, okay? Now, I only have to do this once. The reason mine is showing up on my toolbar is that every time I log in, it's already down there, okay? So do the drag and drop to bring this tool down to the toolbar, and then just let it go right here, and this tool will always be available to you, okay? Okay, here's how it works. Once I have something on my screen that I want to capture, I'm going to use the my snipping tool. You'll see that my screen went gray. That means I've got this cropping tool now available. Okay, I'm going to go over here. I want to capture this piece of information, this block of data. I position my cursor where I see where I want to start to snip. I hold my left mouse button down, and I grab this image right here. When I get it to where I want it, I just let my mouse button go, and this is now a picture. And I can copy and paste this. I can send it in an email. I can save it and use it later. In this case, I'm going to copy it, move over to that email, and do a paste right here on the email. Okay. If you can imagine your client asks you, hey, send me that quick little mini CMA, and you went in and started typing out all of these different columns and getting all the numbers right, that's one way of doing it, but the much simpler way of doing it, as we've seen, is to use that snipping tool that's available in your Mac, or excuse me, in your PC, but also available on the Mac using the Command-Shift-4 keystrokes all at the same time, to get the same functionality. I am going to add one more thing to this, snazz it up just a little bit for Stacy's clients, using that back button to go back to the results. And let's take a look at those properties we just captured right over here on the map. Okay, here's that map. These are the 3 twos. Now my green homes, those are the current actives. The red ones, those are the solds, but remember those solds were done within the last 60 days. We set up that criteria as we went through. Your orange ones, those of course are your pendings and your contingents that are out there. I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit for Stacy's client, and let's come back out one level. There we go. That's probably the image I'm going to want. Here's that snipping tool again, guys. All the way down to the bottom, bring it up. It's on my toolbar already. That's the snip I just did. Going to do a brand new snip right over here, and brand new snip, hold my mouse button down, find my shape. I always like to put in, give it a reference point. Here's Calero Reservoir. They're going to want to know where that active down there to the south is in relation to Calero. Hold my mouse button down, and we're going to grab that right there. Always like to put in some landmarks so people can really get sort of their bearings on this. Let's go ahead and put the legend in as well for 1 mile. Let my mouse button go. There's my picture with a right-click copy right there, and then back over to my email, because I'm going to put this right here. Put that right there in my email. Now remember, your competitor who doesn't know how to do this right now is still trying to get all these numbers in the right columns. You've done 2 snips. You've created a mini CMA for them, right? Now that they now know exactly what the average cost is of a 3-2 in Morgan Hill, and they've got a nice visual to go with it. Okay, let's go back to our results. Right up here, I'm going to use the results button in the very far upper right-hand corner of the screen. Okay, and I want to get back to that Agent 1 line display. This was that last Agent Full. Here's a link right there, though, to my Agent 1 line display. I can quickly move backwards. Okay, here are those properties that we got those listings on, or that average number, because Stacy's client was very specific. They just wanted an average of what a 3-2 costs. But then Stacy's client sends the email back to her and says, hey, I really like this, great representation. Can you send me a CMA? I want to see all these individual properties and how they line up in their current status. That's even easier to do. All I would do is here's the properties right here that the client wants. Come on up to this upper left-hand corner of the screen where you see the Select All button. I'm going to go ahead, there we go. And I'm going to click on the Select All button. It highlights each and every one of the 48 listings that are in the system, or that are in this search. And down here to the bottom toolbar, let me move this up so you can see it. Right there, there's your Quick CMA button. And I'm going to give it a click. Now, I've gone from that little tiny mini CMA that we got from the Stats button right here. We chose the tabular option for that to get that little mini one, just a slice of information, but it is doing a market comparison for you. We then moved quickly over to the Quick CMA, and that brought up probably the #1 report we do in our system. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these are done every day by the 16,000 subscribers of MLS Listings. So let's take a quick look at it so you can get some familiarity with it. Now the first thing is you cannot change the format of the report. It's a PDF document, and there's no change in the columns around or anything like that. That can be done in another program. Now, what it does is it takes our actives and it breaks them all down for us, each one line item for each, and then down here on this line, this is the averages for all of the actives. Then you get the contingents, okay, and the averages for your contingents, the pendings, and of course their average line got moved to page 2. Here are all those solds, okay. Now look the difference. I'm going to come back up here so you can see this right over here. There are 2 empty columns right here that you will not see in the actives, contingents, and pendings. As we come down, you can see those 2 columns are blank, but once you get into the solds, you do get that sale price and you get that close of escrow date added in. Remember, these close of escrow dates were determined when we started this search with that close of escrow date data field going 0 - 60 backwards. 0 is today. We told the system to only capture the solds that happen within the last 60 days in Morgan Hill. Coming down the page, this is the average line for the solds, okay? And then this is the average line for all 48 listings that were in all those categories, okay? The other one nice thing about this report is it does bring in the median. If the client, some clients will want both the average and the median because there is a little variance between the two sometimes, right? $719 is the median sale price for 3-2s. $736 is the average sale price for 3-2s in Morgan Hill over the last 30 days. Now, once again, coming down, this is page 2, okay? But starting on page 3, you get all of the thumbnail reports for each of those properties in all 4 statuses, okay? Now, so what I tell people, just to remind you, is that page 1 and 2, not going to take much printer ink to get this, even in color, not going to take much printer ink. But we've got 38 total pages, and page 3 through 38 are helping to fund the Hewlett-Packard printer division and printer cartridge division. So these are the pages that will really chew up that ink on you, so be careful of that. Remember, when you go to print, you're in a PDF document here. In my version, way up here in the upper right-hand corner, in my version of Adobe, my menu is up here. Some of the newer versions will have it down here as what we call a ghost menu. It'll pop up every once in a while down here along the bottom of your page. So it's all dependent on what version you're using. But when you choose print, here's the menu for print. I'm going to move this over here so we're all working on one side. When I choose the menu for print, right here I can tell it which pages to work from, and I may only want to have it print page 1 and 2. Okay, so that's where you would do your print limitation right there. Move some things out and rearrange my screen a little bit, bringing back up that chat panel if anybody's got any questions for the steps we've taken so far. Going to do a quick review of that just so I make sure we've all got that down. And let me do some quick tabletop, desktop cleanup here. Okay. And let's go back to the criteria tab where we set up our search. Now remember, this was just a basic question. The client wanted to know average sale price of homes. In this case, we used 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes in Morgan Hill. So active contingent, pending and sold. Filter the close of escrow date. If you don't, we're going to deliver you 17 years worth of data. So that won't be very current for anywhere. We chose, in this case, your single family home. Remember that if you're doing CMAs for condominiums, always select townhome with it, okay? Always choose those both together. You'd never really know how that listing agent put it in. Wouldn't want you to miss something that your client may find someplace else categorized in a different property type. In this case, the question that was asked was only for 3-2s, okay? I didn't put in any kind of square footage or lot size or anything like that. Got all the information possible. We're going to talk about that in a second, just a little more. And I used down here in the city area, I used the actual municipality of Morgan Hill. Remember, and we'll look in the next step down into the neighborhood concept, because if I say 3-2 in San Jose, boy, that's a lot of territory to cover, and certainly pricing of 3-2 is going to change from neighborhood to neighborhood. We'll talk about that in a second as well. My matches are always down here in the bottom left corner, okay, 48 matches. We went and got those results because you always have to get the results before you can do anything else. And in this case, we started off, unclick that, we started off way down here with that green toolbar for that little mini or small CMA under Stats, Tabular, okay? And that brought up this breakdown for us, and we used, in this case, we used the solds, the average lines of the solds to answer that question for Stacy's client. Now, Stacy's client said, love the information, but can you show me every individual listing that made up that set of results? Absolutely. You simply go back down there in the bottom left corner, go back to the results. Using the Select All button in the upper left corner, you come down to the green menu. Let me move it up here so you can see it. You come down to the green menu and use the Quick CMA button to convert the summary CMA, the small CMA, into this more detailed CMA that does have all those average lines right above it, but it is broken out by actives, contingents, and pendings, and solds. Okay, got a question coming in. What is Mac command for Snipping Tool? That's coming in from Trevor. Trevor, what you'll do is it's a series of keyboard of keystrokes. So pressing all down at one time, the command button, the shift button, and the number 4 all at the same time will give you a snipping tool coming from the Mac folks. Definitely looks different, but that'll bring that snipping tool up, and then you can do that. Grab just a piece of the screen and copy and paste it someplace else. Also, Trevor, sometimes what it does when you do that screenshot, that snip, it moves the image to your desktop, and you can pick it up over there. I'm just learning how to use the Mac after, since 1984 I've been using a PC, and my good friend and fellow trainer, Jennifer Kirchie, who you may have all met out there in the training world, she's brought me over. She's trying to get me over. Dave Scalera, who is our trainer and is online with us today. Dave's out working in the Daly City Center, training center. He runs that operation up there. And just last week, he got his first Mac as well. So they're converting all of us. Let's go set up a little more advanced search. So let me move some things around here. Oh, and by the way, Trevor, just so you know, you can always go to YouTube, and I think if you do, I'm guessing here, Snipping Tool for Mac. There you go. How to use the snipping tool on a Mac, no download. So great little instructions over on YouTube for little functions like that, but that can be incredibly helpful. And as we saw, have a really big impact. Change that email that you're sending from something very plain, just text only. Get a map up there. Get that matrix of statistics. Really makes for an impactful email to send out. Okay, I'm going to clear some things off here. Do just a regular search residential. Want to take it up to another level now. Want to go with the concept of I'm really specific. The client's asked a very specific question. Going to work in a big city like San Jose because it makes for a good example. Okay. Same setup on the search side for this. Active, contingent, pending, and sold. I'm working in San Jose, so I'm gonna go 60 days backwards, 0 minus 60, right there in the close of escrow. But as I said before, if I was doing a search in, you know, the hills above Morgan Hill for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a mountain community, I may need to go back 120 days to actually find some comps to work with. Going to stay with the single family in this case, okay? And the client gives me a brief description. Hey, Blossom Valley, I want to look at, we really need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, looking at about, we'll give it a square foot, 1,800 to 2,000 square feet, somewhere in that area. And, what am I going to be expecting to pay for something like that? We can use this same thing with the client comes to you, they're the seller, right? And in fact, maybe that's a good way to let's move from the buyer side to the seller side. The seller tells you, Mark, I've got a 3-2 in the Blossom Valley area, and we're roughly about 1,800 square feet. What can I expect to get for something for that right now? I would go ahead and put in the 3-2. Okay, this is one way of doing it. Now, I'm really moving over now from functionality to sort of theory. This is one of those things you're going to want to check with your office manager, your mentor about, check how they would do it. This is just one way of doing it. I could put it in as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but I would not put in any square footage. The reason is I'd want to get all the information back I can relating to 3-2s, relating to lot sizes. Give me the whole answer, and then we'll filter from there, right? We'll throw things off that really don't match what my seller's home is down there. So let's stick with the 3-2, but I'm going to leave off the square footage. So what I'm trying to say is your client may give you a lot of data about the home they want to compare to, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should use it. I'm a proponent of get all the data back. Give me everything. Give me the anomalies. Give me the stuff that matches perfectly. Once I get the data, I can filter off. We're going to show you how to do that. Now, your client has said they're in the Blossom Valley area, okay? Now, county's going to be too big. I'm over here on the location side, over on the sort of mid-left of the screen. The county of Santa Clara is going to be too big. The city of San Jose is going to be too big. I could probably pick up, a MLS area, but if I'm not familiar with where those lines are exactly, maybe I'm a newer agent, and we don't tend, the newer agents sort of don't use the MLS areas a lot. The veterans all know these numbers by heart. I would do this. I would leave it as it is, maybe type in San Jose, right? That'll focus my property down a little bit. Look at those matches way down there in that bottom corner, though. That's going to be a giant CMA because we're really only looking for one specific neighborhood. And that's where I would come up to the very top of the screen, upper right, and I'd click on the map. Let's go take a look at these properties and be able to really climb down into a specific area. It's too small for a zip code. It's too small for a city name. Even the MLS area is a little too big if you happen to know those. So let's do a quick review of what we're seeing here on the map. These are bundles that are showing up. What it's telling me is there's too many properties, too many results on this map for me to show you with the map being so small. Now, I've got a roller ball on my mouse, so as I roll the ball forward, the map zooms in. And as I zoom in, those bundles start to get smaller, okay? I'm going to be concentrating down here and at some point as I zoom in, the bundles go away and all the homes show up, okay? Now, if you don't have that roller ball on your mouse, here are your zoom in and zoom out options right over here, okay? And you can click on to go that. Now, the neighborhood the client was talking about, it was right in this area right here, okay? So I'm going to come way down into that area. You know, this is the area, and certainly this is where your knowledge of the marketplace, your experience out there, you know what homes on this, are homes on this side of Santa Teresa, different construction value, different neighborhoods, different builder, different, era that they were built. You'll know where your lines are of where to draw your shape to get this, this CMA. I certainly know that homes on this side of 85 usually have a different pricing structure than homes on that side of 85. So we're going to work right here, though, right in this neighborhood. Santa Teresa Boulevard, sort of going along the west and south side. Snell Avenue on the east side, Blossom Hill on the top. Okay, gonna have to use my cutting tool to get down to a neighborhood. I've got to use one of my cutting tools, which are right up here at the top of the menu. Okay, if you need a little more instruction on map drawing, always remember up here in the upper right-hand corner of the screen is a training link. And we've got videos up there. We've got, what else is up there? We've got how-tos of how to do map drawing. You can always go to our YouTube site. There's a video there, a matrix class. You can pick it up. But a little bit of instruction as we go along here. I want to cut this shape out right there. Now, circle's not going to work, okay? Rectangle or square, not going to work. Going to have to choose my polygon tool, okay? I give it a click and it highlights. Okay, there we go. And remember that these clicks, I do not hold my mouse button down. Okay, I simply do individual clicks, then move the mouse. I'm going to go over here to 85, come down 85 to Snell. Every time I need to make a turn, I give it another click to anchor my line, anchor my shape. Turning down Santa Teresa, going to make that slight little bend all the way back up here. Now remember, we get this big curve here. I can do as many clicks as I want. 2, 5, whatever I need to get around that corner. Key thing is, always got to go back to right where you started with one final click. Okay, the whole neighborhood has disappeared, and once again, I've got that option right now. Depending on the question that was asked, I could do my stats tabular at the bottom. Okay, down here. To get just a summary CMA, or I want the quick CMA button. Actually, the client wants all the individual properties down here of quick CMA, but note how it's grayed out. Okay, that means I need to tell the system which properties to include in my quick CMA. So what you need to do is come back up to the top of the screen, upper right-hand corner, and click back over to get those results. Okay. Now, remember we chose 3-2, but we didn't put any square footage or anything. We didn't look at the lot sizes that are in that neighborhood. Some are a little larger than others. I want to show you how to refine this listing, this list of listings down to, throw out some of the anomalies, some of the ones that maybe are going to be too big. Let's start with the square footage, okay? The client told us it's a 3-2. That's pretty simple. But they told us 1,800 square feet. I don't know if I've got any more. I don't have any 1,800. Let's change the question up a little bit. It's a 1,200 square foot home, the one that they're trying to price out, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort this square footage column. I need to see if there are any ones that are different, that are sort of out of the norm here. So I'm going to click on the word or the title for square feet. What it did is it sorted that column from lowest to highest, okay? Now the client told us they're at 1,200 square feet. So really all I want in this case, are the ones right about 1200. So from line number, let's see, from line 3 down to, I would probably take to line 8, right here, 1270, because the one below it is, now we're getting too big. Now, we're going to talk about how to refine the list here. I've got a couple options. I can choose the ones, and I'm all the way over there on that far left-hand side using those select boxes. I choose the ones that I want, okay? But, and do I want, no, I'm good. That group right there, the ones highlighted in blue, okay? Now, I only want those. I want all the rest thrown off the list. I come down here to the bottom left corner of the screen, and I use the Refine button. The Refine button allows me to narrow the list down, right here, narrow it down to just the ones I've selected. If I click Discard right here, it will discard the ones I've selected and save all the rest, okay? So that's not the one I want. I want to do a narrow button, and I'm going to give it a click. And now I'm down to just the ones I've selected. We've narrowed it down from that 3-2 bed bath count to only the ones with the square footage right around 1,200 square feet. I always look over here at the lot square footage. They're all roughly about the same, but if you had maybe a corner lot or something that, was up to, say, 7,500 square feet, you may want to refine that list and pull it off as well. Once again, I'm going to come over, let me move my panel out of the way. Other things you may want to look at, you can certainly tell, look here at the age column, these were all built right about the same time. If you get one of those neighborhoods like Santa Clara, Saratoga over by Quito Road, so where it bumps up by San Jose, West San Jose, and Campbell, you get those, mixed homes. Some were built in the 40s and some were built last year. You may want to go through and make sure you don't have any anomalies or outliers in that age column as well, okay? So that's the process by which you filter things down to tighten up your CMA so it's as close as possible to that seller who says, Mark, I've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this very specific neighborhood. Click on the map to show you that neighborhood. It's right here, okay, very specific neighborhood. And the square footage is roughly about 1,200 square feet. Grab as much information as possible. As you saw what we did, grab everything possible, and then using the Refine button down here in the bottom left, you shape the MLS down into exactly, or you shape the results down into exactly what you need by narrowing that list down. Okay? Let's take this CMA to the next level. Now, your client has asked you for, you started off by giving them maybe the little mini CMA, that stats tabular button down at the bottom. It's going to take a look at that for you. Going to move back over from the Refine tab, bottom left corner, to the Actions tab. Here's that stats tabular button right here. That was our mini, okay? Then we decided to move it over to a quick CMA. That's the medium-sized one. Great list of information, good statistical data for your CMA. Also has those listings included, right, in the thumbnail environment. So a little bit more detail here. But we've got one more CMA for you, and it's right there. Right there is what we call the large CMA, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and click into that. I've already chosen the properties I want included. Let's go see the difference of the small, the medium, and now the large. Dave, you're so good. Dave just sent me that chat question he promised he'd send me. He says I got a little chat from Sally. Sally's asking, once we have the list refined, should we save the list in case we want to work with it later? Sally, here, great, fantastic question. Absolutely fantastic question. Remember that when you do a save, okay, and I'm going to just take one little look here. Okay, when I do a save, right down here, sort of bottom left side, I save this, okay, and it comes back and says, oh, save it as a new search, right? Well, let's see. I'm going to go back one step. Okay, so save, down at the bottom, new save search. When I'm saving this right here, I'm not saving the list of results that came up. Let me get back to the results. I'm not saving this list of results. What I'm really saving is this question right down here. So what I would recommend, Sally, is once you have a list of properties saved up, if you go ask that question again, you could have more properties thrown in. If you need to freeze this data in time, so, you know, because maybe you're going to run this again in 2 weeks, the answer may be different, but at least you can, now you have 2 documents, one for today, one from 2 weeks from now. When you run your CMA, whether it is the quick CMA right here, okay, or in the stats tabular, you probably have to do a screen capture, but in the quick CMA, save it. Let's see when it comes up. Right up here, upper right-hand corner. Save this CMA to your hard drive, okay? Lock it in place, lock it in time. And that's the only way you can freeze the MLS is to save things to your hard drive in that PDF format, okay? Also, if you save a CMA, when we look at the next CMA, the larger one, I'm also going to recommend once that final report comes up, save it to your hard drive so you can lock that data down because the system is changing every 15 minutes. This is Gary down in the Monterey area. Hi, Mark. Can you show that again, please? Gary, when you say that, which that is that? the CMA process or the save? The saving of the CMA. Okay. So once I get a CMA up, let me do a quick cleanup here. Here's the results that I want to put into my quick CMA right here. So I open up the CMA, the quick CMA. It's now converting that data to a PDF document. That's what this looks like, okay? And now this is dependent on which version of Adobe software you have. My save button is up here in the upper right corner. Depending on the version, your software may be showing that same menu, but it'll be down here in the middle of the page, okay? So I'm going to click download this. It says, okay, Mark, this is a downloaded PDF document. Do you want me to open up right now, or do you want me to just save it? And this will go to my, in my case, it'll go to my documents folder. I would simply say, save the file, okay. And now that document has been saved onto the hard drive of my laptop, and that data has been locked in place. I've captured whatever the answer is right now, because it will change or can change within the next 15 minutes. Okay, here we go. Taking that same set of listings, moving over to that large CMA. It's right here on the menu, bottom right-hand corner. Now, this is what we call a wizard. Okay, and the steps of the wizard are right up here at the very top, okay? So the wizard walks you through a series of steps. There's the save button we're going to use at the very end to make sure we lock the report in place, okay? So we're at the start button right now, and the first thing we do is we give it a contact, okay? You don't have to. The only data fields that are required are going to be data fields that are in yellow. But you can apply a contact that you've got in your contacts list right now. You can also create a new client if you need to. I'm never fond of software packages that, you know, they get you into a wizard like this. They say, you know, put the client's name in, but they won't let you put the client name in. So you have to back all the way up. There are some MLS software packages that do that. Within the matrix tool, anytime you assign a contact or email a contact, you can create the contact right from that very spot, okay? We've got some language variations for you, Spanish soon to come, okay? We're going to leave it in English. This description right here, this is the description that you use. This is just for yourself, okay? But like I said, you don't have to fill these in if you don't want to. This is important right here. This CMA will be saved for 180 days from the last modified date, okay? Meaning, if you do not save this at the end, if you don't save this using this diskette up here, Matrix will save it. It will be in your My Matrix area, right up here on the green toolbar, there's the CMAs. That's where it's going to land, but it will only stay there for 180 days. And there is no warning on day 179 that it's going to be thrown out of the system. So I always recommend saving your CMAs to your hard drive. That way they'll never go away. Okay, let's move over to the next step of the wizard. It's the Pages document. Now, this is a very common setup in the matrix environment. Common setup when you're doing selections, whether you're adding new display fields into a display, you're choosing advanced data fields to search by, you always have the what's available over here on the left versus what I've already selected over here on the right, okay? Now, this is a standard sort of Microsoft or, right here, but these are the ones I've already selected, okay? Now, how do you know which ones to select? You need to do this just once, okay? And what I recommend you do the first time you do a large CMA is you choose everything, okay? It sounds crazy, but choose everything. Get everything added over here to the selected side. As you go through the whole process one time only and you get to the end, you'll be able to hit a preview button. And it will come back and show you what each of these pages looks like. And you can refine it. You can refine the packet right there at that spot. Go into preview, take a look, see which ones you don't like. You would come back and delete the pages you don't like, because once you've seen it all and you reviewed it all, and then you've determined which ones you want to save, right down here at the bottom of the selected pages column, you would save that set as the default. So you never have to do it again. You'll always just have that same report tailored to what you like coming out every time you do a CMA. Okay, you can always change it. There's always that restore, go back to the start kind of thing. So, and the reason I'm telling you to go look at it once, do your review, come back and throw out the pages you don't want, is simply for, well, I'm a big fan of this. I want the summary list. No, I want the summary report. No, give me the area summary, right? No, give me the full summary. There are multiple summaries in here. You will not need them all. You will just choose the one that, works best for you, tells the best story, looks graphically the best. But you got to go see them all before you can peel the ones off you don't want anymore, okay? Note that if you choose something right over here, like the full summary, I can always delete that full summary using that red X right over there, okay? The arrow will move this page, will move full summary. The arrow will move it up the page for me, so you can put these in the right order however you want at this point, okay? Okay, once you come all the way down to the bottom left, right down here, upload custom pages. That's your biography. That's the list of certifications you've got. That's the story about your brokerage. That's any special document, Word document, PDF you want to add into the pack can be done right over there. Once again, I would always set it as the default. Once you get the custom pages added on the left, go ahead and set it as the default, so you don't have to go find those documents over and over again every time you do one of these larger CMAs. Okay, coming back up to the wizard. Feel free to pop me a note if you need me to, slow down or, cover something again. Always happy to go back. Okay, subject wizard, okay? This is for if you actually have a subject property, usually on the seller side. Seller says, here's my house, and I'm going to give you all the information on it, and I want you to compare my house to the other houses in the area. So if you've got a subject property, don't necessarily have to have one though, you can choose to type in, right? So here's where you'd add in all the information about that subject property. Maybe the seller just told you what it is over the phone. Maybe you're actually out at the seller's property. And if you are out at the seller's property, absolutely take advantage of, grab a quick picture with your iPhone, with your Samsung, email it to yourself, and go ahead and upload that photo when you do the final CMA. Now, I just mentioned the word cell phone, iPhone and Samsung as an example. can you do a CMA on a cell phone? The answer is yes. Would I ever do a CMA on a cell phone? The answer is no. There are some things, and if you come to my live classes that I do throughout the 5 counties, I always talk about this. There are some things you can do on a cell phone within MLSListings matrix. Please excuse my German Shepherd there. Obviously the UPS guy is here, and he looks mighty delicious today, I guess. There are some things you can do on a cell phone, but something like a CMA, this is what I term heavy lifting. Can do it, don't recommend it, whatever. Get over to a keyboard. It'll make life much easier for you. Okay, so get your photo uploaded right there that you've taken with the cell phone, but email it and pick it up off your email. You can add in any kind of remarks right here, okay? And then if you had the mapping location, you could put in the longitude and latitude. There is a locate button to work off of as well to get right down to the property address. That'll add that map in for you if you want to add that in, okay? Okay, so this is the sort of the manual input of the subject property, okay? And let me go back one step. There we go. If you want to enter it in right there. Now, if it was ever on the MLS at one time, you could go back, find the property on the MLS, and put in that MLS number right there. Click the fill button, and it will take all the data off the old MLS number, and it will load it into what we call auto-pop it or auto-populate it. It will load it right in. Got a quick question over here. Going to take a look at. Is it possible to add a subject property to Quick CMA or Stats Tabular? That's coming from Venkata. Hi, Venkata. You were just with me yesterday. No, you cannot. Probably, if you wanted to do it, I would probably do a separate page, maybe in a Word doc or something like that. If the property was on the MLS at one time, recently, you could choose it off a results list. But if 123 Main Street sold 2 years ago, and now the owner of 123 Main Street wants to sell it again, probably wouldn't want to go back and grab that listing from 2 years ago, because the date and the price will affect your averages. Okay, so the answer is no. The only place to add a subject property would to be here in the bigger CMA. Here's your cover shot. Moving over to that cover wizard. Okay, here's the photo that you can add in. It's got your listing, your information right here. That can be edited. You can let's take a look at that real quick. You can put in, who you are, what you are, where you are, kind of thing right here. Okay, your contact information will then load up in here. If you put it in down here in the edit info, it will lay it in every time for you. Once again, when you're saving this as a template, that way you don't have to ever come back and do it again. Okay, moving on the wizard now, coming over to comparables. Okay, and there they are right there. Remember, that's how we started this process. We went and got the comparables first and then went to report. You could start one of these large CMAs first, right? Start the report up and then get to this page and go do your search directly from here. So you can do it either way. Start with the comparables and go into the report, or start with the report and go into the comparables. Just depends on which way you're comfortable. You've got the mapping wizard capability right here. It lays it all out for you. And that's just a quick visual for you. Now, here's the tricky one. This is the adjustments tab. Okay. Now, here you start acting like the appraiser. Okay. This property's got that, and that's got this, and I need to subtract for this and that. If you don't have a solid background in different types of field changes, right? And here's the different, no data available. It doesn't have a half bath. It needs a full bath. Let's talk about the fireplace. If you're not literally an expert on what it costs to put in a fireplace or what it costs to add a pool, most brokers tell me they do not like their agents using this adjustments area. It's very easy to put in a wrong price on something, a construction price you don't know about. You wing it, right? You go freestyle on us, and pretty soon your data is off. Your CMA is off, and you actually at that point sort of make yourself vulnerable. So This is definitely one of those areas, this adjustments wizard. You definitely want to check with your office manager, your broker, your mentor. How do they handle this? Bring to them, hey, the property over on Jacques has a pool, but it doesn't have forced air, but all the rest do. How would you do it? Get their input on that, definitely, before you dive into this whole adjustments area, okay? The one thing I do like about this page, look right down here on the left corner. It's starting to get my pricing for me, okay? It's starting to build my pricing for me. Here's the Pricing Wizard tab, okay? And there we go right there. It's got my comparable pricing, my highs, my medians, my averages, right? This is a great combination of data. But who's going to set that price? You are. The MLS is not in the business of setting prices. We rely on your intimate knowledge of neighborhoods, how fast things are moving, what's the inventory right there? You know, are you sitting in a great neighborhood that buyers want to buy, but there's nobody on the market until your client decides to sell their property? Maybe there's more value in that property right now because of smaller inventories. This is the, you know, always put in a range because that's just good sales, but always check with, if you're unsure, check with your office manager, check with your broker, check with your mentor as to how you're going to price that house out, okay? Additional comments can be, you know, here's the price range I suggested, and maybe here are the reasons why, okay? Here's your finish button. Get it all wrapped up, back up on that wizard again. And this is where you can view your CMA, right? We talked about the very first time you do one of these, choose all the possible pages, then come back and view the CMA here at the final step. If you want to delete pages, you simply go back to your Pages wizard, okay? And I'm going to say pull these 3 items off. Use my red button over here to delete those items. Come back to the Finish tab when you're done, okay? And then, you know, view your CMA one more time just to make sure, okay? I can email it directly from here if I need to. The other nice thing about View CMA, remember we talked about saving? You can do it from View CMA because that's going to come out as a PDF, okay? So we'll watch this come through. There it is, okay? Not very stylish right now. We didn't add a lot of things to it, but this is now that PDF document. So once again, I've got that upper right-hand corner. I can do my save right there to save this to my hard drive. If I'm actually back in the Matrix tool, I can also use that icon right there, that diskette icon, to save this CMA. Okay, checking the chat box once again just to make sure everything's good. Going to clean some things up here. Now, going to look at some different options for additional training on the CMA process. Certainly, upper right-hand corner, whether you're in a CMA window, a search window, a results window, you've got your training link, okay? When the training link comes up, here we are right here, I'm going to go to, I've got a couple of options. I've got videos right here. And you've got the quick CMA, there's your advanced CMA link right there, okay? And your quick CMA link is just above it, right there. So you've got 2 video options in this. Here on the how-to menu at the back at the top again, these are going to be my written instructions, right? I like to print them out. I like to be looking at my instructions as I'm going along. And let's see where those CMA buttons are. Here we go, over here in the advanced column. Right at the very top, there's my quick CMA report, okay? And then down here, about halfway down, how to start a CMA, meaning how to set it up, and then the advanced CMA, that one with the wizard. That if you print out all pages, I don't recommend it, but if you print it all out, I think we're up to about 65 pages in that advanced CMA. Which brings me back to where I started. And I think it was with Stacy in Morgan Hill. There she is. Yep, Stacy Bell over in Morgan Hill. Because remember when we started, the question for Stacy was, Stacy, what's the average price of a 3-2 in Morgan Hill? I don't need a 65-page CMA to make that happen. All I need, and let me go back to my, all I need in that case, all the way down to the very bottom, is my Stats Tabular button, okay? Stats Tabular, right there, real easy, gives me that average line, real clean. I can snip this out. We saw how to do that snipping process to include it in an email to my client. I always like to make sure that if I send them the list of, the summary, the Stats Tabular, that I include the map with it, okay? By the way, remember when we looked at this map earlier, we had little colored houses? The check marks mean I included those in that other CMA, right? So let me give you the example. Back to results. Because I have all of these checked over here on the far left-hand side of the page, that's why they're showing up as blue checks here on the map. If I want my colored map back, I go back to the results and just unclick that select all button at the top. And when I come back to my map, there they all are again. Makes for a great snip, good colorful one, exactly. Okay, now I did the Stats Tabular for that little mini CMA at the very bottom. I want to convert it to my medium CMA, my intermediate CMA. I select all the possible listings, use the selection all select button, and I come down and use the quick CMA button down here on the green toolbar to give me that pre-shaped, templated format CMA, okay? Clearing some stuff off here. Once again, remember that usually all your results are going to be on page 1 and page 2, okay? And the second I get down to page 3 is when those thumbnail reports start to show up. But remember, as in this case, look up there in that upper left-hand corner, I've got 3, I'm on page 3 of 38, meaning page 3 through 38 are going to burn up your printer cartridge. So be careful of that. May just want to do print, limited print, page 1 and page 2 only. You decide that, maybe let's skip the intermediate and go on to the more advanced. Okay, give them the report with lots of charts and graphs and all that kind of stuff. You can easily switch over, take that same set of results and move it over to the advanced CMA, or what we call the large CMA, down there in that bottom toolbar. Okay. Your additional training, always at the top of the page, right up here. And whether you want to look at the video or you want to look at the user guides for this. And remember that, hopefully by the end of the day, I'm going to get back over here. I'm back on my YouTube channel again, MLSListings, MLS. There we go, MLSListings. On YouTube, there's my MLSListings channel for you. And the new video actually will be showing up right here. These load in chronologically. So later on today, this webinar is going to be posted right here for you on this page. Okay, Venkata asked about Cloud CMA. Good question. Let's go back and show you what Cloud CMA is. Right down here at the bottom on this green toolbar. Cloud CMA is a third-party product. We don't make it. The MLS doesn't make it. It is a really good product, I must admit that. And in fact, if I click on Cloud CMA, sort of the genius of this button right here is I can do my search here in Matrix, where I'm used to it. I've run it for a long time, but now I can move it over. If I have a subscription, I can move it over to Cloud CMA, okay? And if you are not a Cloud CMA, you can try it for 30 days right here. And the reason I like Cloud CMA and I really love this deal is they're not going to try and, now you need to buy the premium version and the platinum version. No, give it a shot, see if it works for you. I got to admit, it makes some great looking CMAs. Very, very stylish, very presentable, looks fantastic on an iPad. If you want to do that type of presentation. If you want to sort of bump up your, your CMA presentation and certainly on the, in the e-world, in the electronic world, Cloud CMA may be an option for you. They do handle their own training, and they've got great training videos and such. And they're from Huntington. What's nice about it too is they're from Huntington Beach down in Southern California, so they're in our time zone. You can, when you need an answer, you can get to them right away. But that's what Cloud CMA is. Okay, getting ready to close this webinar out. Going to look at some additional questions here. How do I add your banner at the top of the page? Thank you, Venkata. Oh, for the quick CMA, Jerry was asking about this banner right here. Okay, so let's take a look. The banner is done over in Matrix, okay, and it's done right up here in the My Matrix tab on the green toolbar, okay. I come down to the Settings option and click on Settings, and this is going to be the My Information right here at the very top, the header and the footer, okay. And so let's click into that and give you some options. Here's what mine looks like right now, okay, but you've got some different options. So when you first load this up, Jerry, you're probably just going to see a blank box right there, okay. What you do is you come down to the select a different package option right down here in the bottom left, and we've got all sorts of different concepts here or design styles. I know you're down there in Monterey, this is looking pretty attractive to you, the California coast, maybe the coastal highway kind of stuff. We're always adding some new things in here, so come back and make a change to it. If you want a more basic one, certainly you just got the basic colors up here, but you may want to even upload your own custom one. Have someone make it for you, or if you don't know how to use like Photoshop or what else can you use? Probably PowerPoint. You can make one in PowerPoint. So you can choose the custom upload. Selected it, come down to the very bottom, upload images. There's the size you need to make it, Jerry, right there. So if you have a designer, a graphic designer, or if you've got that experience yourself, you can always make it in a different program, make sure it's that image size, and then you would browse it and bring it up into this program, okay? That header is going to show up on all your emails, all your CMA reports, what else? Any printed report you put out for a client, that header is going to show up there for you. Once again, the training on that, Jerry, is up here in the upper right-hand corner. I think it's under, let's go take a quick look. I'm going to look at the how-tos for this one, and I think it's under customizing. There it is right there, how to customize a header or a footer. So if you want to do that one later on, that one can work for you. Okay, folks, getting ready to call it a day. Like I said, we'll have this up by the end of the day for you, so you can listen to it again. Always remember also, let me go back to my training calendar. I'm in that training portal right now. Training calendar at the top of the list, top of the page. Coming up in the webinar world, we've got an essentials course. That's that class you're required to take if you're brand new. Other webinars coming up next week. You've got Mark on Mondays. That's my come and see me at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's like a radio show that we do. So always be checking the portal, what we call the portal calendar for new events coming up. Okay, thank you all for a great class. Enjoyed having you with me. Looking forward to seeing you again out there. And come and see me. I teach at Silvar 4 times a month if you'd like to come see me live, as they say. Everybody have a great day. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.